speaker. Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about my reading weekend and how it went, and actually maybe a little bit more than that. I thought I'd put this video up since I didn't vlog for Dewey's 24-hour readathon, and since I read so few books, I could kind of talk about my thoughts, opinions, and feelings on them, and also just kind of let you know how week one of trying to read 30 books in 30 days actually went. So as far as Dewey's 24-hour readathon, I managed to read 4 books and get in the middle of my 2 focus points, which I have made a lot of progress in since Dewey's 24-hour readathon. We'll get into that in a minute. The other 4 books that I did finish were Tea Dragon Festival and Tea Dragon's Tapestry. They're the sequel to the Tea Dragon Society, which is all about the lore of tea dragons, what tea dragons are, where they come from, and all that kind of stuff. And that stuff is continued in the sequels, but I won't really go into it because, of course, of spoilers. But one thing that I really enjoyed in both Tea Dragon Festival and Tea Dragon Tapestry is that there was a lot of representation. So we had gay representation, a lot of LGBT representation. We even had some sign language representation, which is something that I've been trying to find more of, is sign representation for hard of hearing and or deaf people. And I've also been trying to find more representation of blind people, which is not something that I or hard, people that can't see that well. Not because I want to fantasize it, but because I'm starting to I've realized that in a lot of my books it's mostly sighted people, and I think that's a conversation that's totally been missed out, and it's something I wish I'd recognized sooner. I don't know why I didn't really recognize it. I think it's because I was more focused on the plot than the representation, which is just something I'm trying to get better at. Moving on from that very deep topic that I can make a whole nother video or even 2 on, I did read The Umbrella Academy Volume 3, and I really enjoyed it. Again, I can't really talk about it because it's a sequel, but things I enjoyed from that book was really strong character development, not getting bored. These don't really follow the same story. They kind of just go on to different stories with the same characters, if that makes sense. And what I really enjoyed about this one is that there's a really strong bond and healing that became from our 5 characters after the problem, and there was talks of grief, and there was a brief kind of mini conversation on divorce, like, that was in there, or not really a conversation, but kind of the aftermath, I guess. There was a family coming together. It was just a really sweet but dark novel at the same time, and I'm looking forward to a spin-off series. One other thing that I liked before I move on to the books that my brain has been mostly focused on is I really liked the sense of found family in this book and this graphic novel more than anything else. Moving on from there, I read Walking Dead Volume 30, which, wow, it was really, really complicated. I think as I go into the last 3 graphic novels, comics out of this series, Volume 30, 31, and 32, I have been really worried about what else is there left to cover. What else can we do from here? I mean, this is the end of a series that I have thought that was flowed pretty well, but I'm afraid there wasn't anything else to cover. And Walking Dead Volume 30 did a really good job of kind of giving life to the series. There was a unexpected character that I thought we would never see, even though she's highly talked about. She's more talked about in the sense of a memory, which, I mean, makes sense. We're in the middle of a zombie apocalypse in this series, so, you know, when you lose people, you don't really expect to ever find them. and a character finds one of her relatives, and I thought that was really sweet. And there was also kind of a conversation around a parent giving up a child because they didn't think they were good enough, but still having a close conversation with that, still having a close relationship with that child, but that child still is upset because the parent gave up custody to them. And there was kind of this mini conversation of how the child, the person in question grew to not hate the found person, the people that found them each other, grew to the understanding that I was never not good enough, and the other person grew to figure out that they never hated the situation or hated the person. They just didn't understand what was happening. And it was really sweet to see those two characters grow back close. One thing that I'm worried about in the sense of the plot is I'm really worried that we're about to go into another war. We don't got time for another war, because there was also an important conversation of rich versus the poor. Is the way we have society really necessary? And I didn't think politics was going to get involved, but luckily it was light politics that I could still understand. And that brings us to Ready Player 2. Whoa, that I just accidentally hit myself in the face with. So this is where I break off from Dewey's. I did read about 129 pages of it, but have blasted through the rest of it since then. But Ready Player 2 was a really interesting novel for the fact that this was absolutely an unnecessary sequel, and I would have been fine without this, but it was still fun nonetheless. Plot-wise, I gave it a 2 stars. It was fun, it was enjoyable, but I also gave 3 stars. I give it in total 3 stars because I did listen to the audiobook. I feel like if I hadn't listened to the audiobook, I wouldn't have enjoyed this book whatsoever. I've dumped it, DNF'd it. This might have been my first DNF. Or just one that I didn't finish for quite some time. Things that I enjoyed about this novel were, I don't know. I enjoyed seeing our characters again. I did enjoy one of our characters being killed, because of course that's never fun. But there was kind of this conversation of how other people see you and how that can actually be important sometimes when you have those helpful criticisms instead of the negative ones that are just absolutely unnecessary. We have a character in here that kind of has a narcissistic, stalker-ish personality in some senses, and without that being said, without him, all the official titles floating around and all that kind of crap. Yeah, and that was really important to see him eventually understand after he makes an awful mistake, being like, I shouldn't have done that. And it's too late to fix it because he was on his deathbed by the time he realized or almost on his deathbed, as soon as he realized how badly he had messed up, and leaves a way to fix that problem once he's gone, which makes no sense unless he read this book late. As far as our main character, Wade, better known as Percival, he did a lot of growing up in this book. There were times that I just really wanted to research through this book and punch him. There were times where I would have had Artemis narrating the story, or Samantha. Yeah, there's just not a lot to talk about with this book. It was enjoyable. It was it was really all over the place. It's just it almost felt like there was some growing up that was needed for a couple characters in this book. Otherwise, it was just what happens if someone has unlimited inventing powers, unlimited inventions that they could make and or use, and set everything, cause chaos for, and what it would do if that person also had like a very powerful position to put all of that into play. And last but not least, the book that I am currently reading and almost finished with. This bookmark is absolutely not where I was during Dewey's. I was reading this book, well, listening to it before I started recording, and let me tell you, this book is painful. I did not expect it to go the way that it has. Selena has been through a lot. There was a relationship that I was really enjoying in this novel, and it fell apart. There was a friendship in this novel that I really enjoyed, and now that other half of that friendship is dead. I just don't know how to make heads or tails of this novel in the best way possible. I just don't know who to believe, what to believe anymore. This book is messing with my mindset of kind of, I don't know which character to care about. I don't know which character to listen to besides Selena, and I've kind of put my mind, like my part of my brain, into her mindset as I'm listening to this book, and not in the murdery killy sense, but in the sense of can't fucking trust no one. Can't believe freaking anything, because anytime this poor girl starts to believe anything or trust someone or love someone, they either end up dead, half betraying her, or she has to kill them. Like, no one is safe, and the main problem is the hecking king on the throne. And when I say I hate that man with a fiery passion, and I don't hate very many people, yeah, he is putting himself right up there with President Coin so much. And quite a few characters from Game of Thrones that I can't think of off the top of my head. So, there's that. And with that being said, that is my ranty opinions on the 4 books that I read over the weekend, the one that I finished during this week, and the one that I'm definitely finishing the day I'm recording. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you want me to make a review of any of the books that I talk about, just let me know down in the comments. Follow me on both my Bookstagram and my photography Instagram at Melissa Rose and Melissa Ham Photography. I also will be posting here more often. You can look forward to videos Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays most weeks. And I will see you all in the next one very, very soon. Bye.